Let me ask you something that might stop you cold for a second. What if the way you look right now, the tiredness in your eyes, the stiffness when you get out of bed in the morning, the skin that does not quite bounce back the way it used to, what if none of that was inevitable? What if it was not about your genes, not about getting older, not about something you were born with, but about something you have been doing every single day without even realizing it? Because here's the truth that most people never get told, and it's the kind of truth that once you hear it, you cannot unhear it. Your body is either aging faster or slower right now based on what you're feeding it. Not someday in the future, not when you're older. Right now, today, this morning, the meal you had, the drink you poured, the food you skipped, all of it is either quietly repairing your cells or quietly destroying them. And the gap between those two outcomes is wider than most people ever imagine. Here's what makes this so personal. Most of us walk around with this vague sense that something is off. We're tired in a way that sleep doesn't fully fix. Our joints ache a little more than they should for our age. Our skin looks a bit dull, a bit aged, and we chalk it up to stress or genetics or just life. But researchers who study biological aging, the kind of aging that happens at the cellular level inside your DNA, they're finding something that should change the way every one of us thinks about food. They're finding that certain nutrients actively protect your cells, your DNA, your skin, your brain, your joints, your energy systems from the inside out. And certain things that most people eat every single day are doing the opposite. They're speeding up the clock in ways that show up on your face, in your body, and in how you feel when you wake up in the morning. This is not about vanity. This is about your quality of life, your energy, your clarity, your future. So, let's get into it. The first nutrient that science genuinely backs for keeping your body younger is collagen. Now, you've probably heard that word thrown around in skincare ads and protein shakes, but most people are missing the real story behind it. After the age of 25, your body starts producing about 1% less collagen every single year. That sounds small, but here's what it means over time. Collagen is the structural protein that literally holds your body together. It keeps your skin firm and elastic. It cushions your joints. It maintains the integrity of your gut lining. It's the scaffolding that your body depends on. And when it starts to break down faster than your body can replace it, the effects are not subtle. You see it in the fine lines that start appearing. You feel it in the knees that ache after a run. You notice it in the longer recovery time after a tough workout or a bad night of sleep. Your body is literally losing its structural foundation, and it's happening slowly enough that most people don't connect the dots. But here's the good news, and it's genuinely exciting. You can support your body's ability to produce collagen through the food you eat. The most important piece of this is vitamin C, because your body simply cannot synthesize collagen without it. It's a non-negotiable part of the process. Foods like bell peppers, kiwi, citrus fruits, and broccoli are loaded with it, and they're far more powerful in whole food form than anything you'll find in a gummy or a capsule. Beyond vitamin C, bone broth and animal connective tissues provide amino acids like glycine and proline, which are the actual building blocks your body uses to construct collagen. If you've been looking for one dietary change that supports your skin, your joints, and your gut health all at once, this is it.
An imbalance in
a
omega-6
daily dose
and
of vitamin
omega-3
C from
creates a
whole foods
pro-inflammatory
combined
environment
with
that
a
drives
quality
accelerated
protein source
biological
that
aging.
supports collagen synthesis is one of the simplest and most evidence-backed moves you can make. It's not glamorous, but it works.
Shift
The
to
second
olive
nutrient
oil,
is
avocado
omega-3
oil,
fatty
and
acids,
quality
and
butter
what these
to
fats
special
do at the cellular
These are the
level
fats
is
that
one of the
work with
most
your body.
compelling things I've ever come across in nutrition science. Omega-3s are found in fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel, as well as in walnuts and flax seeds. Most people know they're good for the heart and the brain, but the deeper story involves something called telomeres. Your telomeres are the protective caps on the ends of your DNA strands. Think of them exactly like the plastic tips on the ends of a shoelace. As long as those tips are intact, the shoelace holds together. But once they start to fray, everything unravels. That's precisely what happens with telomeres. The longer they are, the more protected your DNA is, and the slower your cells age. The shorter they get, the faster cells deteriorate, malfunction, and die. And what researchers have found is striking. People with higher omega-3 levels consistently show longer telomeres. They also show significantly lower levels of systemic inflammation, which is one of the primary engines driving accelerated aging in the modern world. To get the benefits of omega-3s, aim for 2 to 3 servings of fatty fish per week. Salmon cooked simply with olive oil and herbs, a tin of sardines on whole grain crackers, mackerel with roasted vegetables. These are not complicated meals, they're just strategic ones. If you genuinely don't eat fish, a high-quality algae-based omega-3 supplement, which is where the fish get their omega-3s from in the first place, is a solid and well-researched alternative. This single nutrient has the documented ability to influence your cardiovascular health, your brain function, your inflammatory response, and how your skin maintains its structure over time. Very few single dietary changes offer that kind of broad, multi-system impact. If you're not currently prioritizing omega-3 rich foods, you're leaving one of the most powerful anti-aging tools completely on the table. The third nutrient is magnesium, and this one might be the most underestimated mineral in the entire conversation about aging. Magnesium is involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions in your body. 300. It supports DNA repair, it regulates cortisol, it improves sleep quality, it keeps your cardiovascular system functioning smoothly. And despite being this foundational to so many processes, studies consistently suggest that the majority of adults are not getting enough. Think about what that means for a moment. If your body is running on insufficient magnesium, it's not just slightly underperforming, it's cutting corners on hundreds of essential processes every single day, including the ones that slow down aging. And the most visible consequence of that, the one that most people feel most acutely, is disrupted sleep. Poor sleep alone is one of the most powerful accelerants of biological aging that we know of. When you sleep deeply and consistently, your body enters a state of profound cellular repair. Human growth hormone is released, tissue rebuilds, the brain clears out metabolic waste through what scientists have named the glymphatic system, which is essentially your brain's overnight cleaning crew. When that process gets disrupted night after night, the damage compounds. Magnesium, particularly from foods like leafy greens, pumpkin seeds, dark chocolate, and in supplement form as magnesium glycinate, directly supports your body's ability to enter and sustain that deep repair window each night. If you're waking up exhausted despite getting enough hours of sleep, if you're dealing with persistent muscle cramps, brain fog, or a sense of stress that never quite lifts, low magnesium might be a much bigger part of that picture than you realize. This is one of those quiet deficiencies that flies under the radar for years while doing real, measurable damage in the background. The fourth nutrient is vitamin D3, and the way most people think about it is almost entirely wrong. Most people understand vitamin D as the bone vitamin, something that keeps calcium in check and prevents deficiency diseases. But vitamin D actually functions far more like a hormone than a traditional vitamin. Its influence reaches into immune regulation, inflammation control, mood stability, gene expression, and even how quickly your biological clock ticks. Low vitamin D levels are consistently and repeatedly associated with faster biological aging, higher rates of cognitive decline, weaker immune function, and greater susceptibility to chronic disease. And the challenge is that deficiency is not rare, it's widespread. If you live in a northern climate, work indoors during the day, have darker skin, or simply spend most of your time out of direct sunlight, there's a real possibility your levels are lower than they should be without you having any obvious symptoms at all. Sunlight remains the most efficient source of vitamin D because your skin can synthesize it directly when exposed to UV rays. But dietary sources matter too, especially fatty fish, egg yolks, and certain fortified foods. The most important step you can take right now is simply getting your vitamin D levels tested. It's a standard blood test, it's inexpensive, and it gives you actual data instead of guesswork. Because here's the thing. If you're deficient and you correct it, the impact on how you feel, how your immune system functions, how clearly you think, and how your body manages inflammation can be genuinely significant. This is not theoretical. There are hundreds of studies linking adequate vitamin D levels to better outcomes across almost every system in the human body. Getting tested is one of the smartest, simplest investments you can make in your long-term health and biological age. The fifth nutrient